This man thought it was just a hole in his yard, until he climbed inside and uncovered a secret that could have destroyed the entire town. What he found buried beneath his front lawn didn't just shake his home, it exposed a dangerous criminal operation that had gone unnoticed for years. Stay with us, because what happens next will leave you speechless. But before we start our story, smash the like button, make sure to subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. It all started on a Sunday. Harold was supposed to drive his son to a soccer practice that morning. They packed their bags and his 14-year-old kid was already decked out in full uniform. The only thing they now needed to do was drive, but it never came to that. Because the moment Harold grabbed his car keys from the hallway dresser, a loud sound was heard, and it came from his front yard. Harold opened the front door of his house and followed the sound. His son came running out after he looked around with a confused look on his face. "What is that noise, Dad?" But Harold didn't respond with words. He simply shushed his boy while focusing on the sound. Every footstep he took seemed to increase the intensity of the sound. Harold, the 48-year-old contractor, stood atop his green pasture when he saw large cracks form beneath his feet. Harold stood on his driveway and looked at the sinkhole in shock. His playful kid ran around the hole with more excited energy, but Harold stopped it. "Get away from there, boy. Come over here. We don't know when this hole will stop collapsing." The noise, which ended up becoming the sinkhole Harold and his boy were looking at, was so loud that it attracted more people. Harold saw that his direct neighbors and wife had also left the house. They inched closer under Harold's strict warning to approach carefully. "What is that thing, Harold? And how did it get there?" Harold gazed down and honestly couldn't say, but there was only one way to find out. Despite his worried wife trying to talk him out of it, Harold dropped into the large sinkhole. He wanted to know what caused this thing to mess up his yard. Harold had fully disappeared into the deep and dark hole, and nobody could get in contact with him, no matter how much they pleaded from the surface. "What is going on down there?" Neighbors were mumbling amongst each other, all speculating about what Harold might find. Everyone around the hole looked at the pitch-black darkness below in captivating tension. They were curious to discover what was down there, just like Harold. The moment when Harold emerged from the hole again was almost ecstatic. Harold sported a pale white face and climbed out of the sinkhole without emotion. It was like he had just seen a ghost. His first words were, "Get away from this thing, all of you." Harold stated that he had no time to explain because what he saw down there immediately needed expert attention. "We need help!" the poor, scared man shouted. So without diving in deeper, Harold picked up his phone from his back pocket and started dialing numbers. "Hello? Hello? Is this the fire department?" "Yes?" "Great. This is Harold Figgins speaking. I live at 1032 Blake Springs and want to report an emergency." All neighbors surrounding Harold strained to listen. Everyone wanted to know what Harold had discovered beneath their feet, hoping the phone calls he made would reveal a clue. They heard him call the fire department and then the local government. But a serious problem soon became clear to Harold and the entire neighborhood. Harold contacted several organizations explaining the severity of the situation. The cracks beneath his garden extended all the way under the main road and likely further. His neighbors were stunned and frightened by this news. Despite Harold's urgent pleas, officials were dismissive. "It's Sunday," they said. "We'll send someone tomorrow." Harold was outraged. Waiting could be disastrous. Just then, a loud rumble shook the ground. A long crack formed at the edge of the sinkhole and rapidly spread across the street. Emergency services showed no urgency. One even hung up rudely. Chaos erupted as the garage's roof tiles fell and its proud brick wall crumbled. Within minutes, the entire west wall collapsed onto the pavement. Panic swept the neighborhood. Taking charge, Harold climbed atop a fallen tree trunk beside the sidewalk and called for attention. "This is serious," he told the crowd. "We can't rely on outside help. We must handle this ourselves." His words struck a chord. The neighbors quieted and listened. Two men stepped forward, volunteering to help. Marcus, 27, and an older man named Lawrence. Together, the three returned to the sinkhole to trace the origin of the collapse. The descent was risky. Rocks occasionally tumbled down, but this time something unusual confronted them immediately, a strong, familiar smell. Already uneasy, Harold urged Marcus to search through the rubble. Marcus soon found what Harold feared. The smell revealed its source. Emerging quickly from the hole, Harold held up a red piece of paper that carried the foul odor. The neighbors grimaced, many recoiling at the stench. Marcus described it as rotten bananas. Harold confirmed the discovery: remnants of nitroglycerin. He explained this smell was common on construction sites, especially after demolitions. To clear old buildings quickly and cheaply, workers often used dynamite, sticks loaded with nitroglycerin, which emitted that distinct odor. The red paper was a fragment of such a stick. Shock spread among the neighbors. A stick of dynamite buried beneath their streets was more alarming than anyone had imagined. Harold didn't know how it got there, but was determined to find out. Before he could speculate further, the danger intensified. Underground pressure rose sharply, and the fumes became overwhelming. Now the toxic gas leaked visibly from the cracks, producing a hissing sound. The ground trembled as the nitroglycerin fumes escaped. Fear gripped the community. Harold urged calm and advised everyone to remain alert. He warned that if any rumbling was heard, they must evacuate immediately. While the neighborhood waited anxiously, Harold prepared to investigate the origin of the dynamite and gas. Marcus and Lawrence pledged to accompany him. Together, they set off on the critical mission. Time was running out. The three men set out together, following the crack that led to the destroyed garage. Harold dug through the rubble and saw the crack ran straight through the building's foundation, continuing beyond the neighbor's property. Even where the crack disappeared, the pungent, rotten banana smell guided them. Harold, Marcus, and Lawrence followed this scent swiftly, discovering cracks and destruction scattered throughout the town. Their journey led them to the town's edge, where dense forests replaced homes. Giant pine trees towered over abandoned buildings, yet the cracks penetrated even this wild area. There, nestled among trees and rocks, was a cave-like opening. The fissures all converged into this hollowed rock. "Does anyone know what's in there?" Harold asked. Lawrence, the oldest and lifelong local, explained the cave was an old gold mine. In the 1950s, the town was famous for gold veins running through the rocks, but those veins had dried up over 50 years ago. The mine had been unused since, making whatever now inside a mystery. Summoning their courage, the three men entered the cave one by one, unsure what awaited them. After about 300 feet, signs of recent activity appeared. Lights and wires lined the tunnel walls, indicating someone was still using the mine. The scent of nitroglycerin grew stronger. Footprints, discarded tools, and meal remnants showed the place was no longer abandoned, but repurposed for an unknown purpose. The evidence was clear, but the men did not yet understand why. Deeper in, Harold discovered a complete set of unused dynamite sticks, confirming the mine's connection to their town's troubles. Though instinct urged retreat, they pressed onward, knowing this investigation was crucial. Eventually, they found a makeshift camp with tents, supplies, scattered maps, and tools. The air was thick with the smell of nitroglycerin, making their heads feel fuzzy. Suddenly, voices echoed nearby. The men hid behind a boulder, realizing they were not alone. They watched as a group of 10 men arrived, setting dynamite sticks into the cave walls with practiced precision. The operation was professional and deliberate. Harold wondered what they hoped to find. Tension rose as one man lit a fuse. Moments later, a massive explosion rocked the cavern, sending shock waves through the area. The blast knocked Harold, Marcus, and Lawrence off their feet, and they struggled to regain their senses amid the settling dust. As the dust cleared, the men saw the group triumphantly holding shimmering debris, the unmistakable glint of gold shown even in the dim cave light. Harold exchanged a concerned glance with his companions. "So there is still gold here," he murmured quietly. Though surprised by the discovery, Harold's worry was deeper. The illegal mining caused the tremors responsible for the cracks and sinkholes affecting their town miles away. Their neighbors were paying the price for this reckless operation. Determined to stop it, Harold stealthily used his phone to document the entire scene, capturing photos and videos as evidence. Once finished, the trio hurried out of the mine, careful not to be seen or caught. The unstable ground warned them not to linger. Upon reaching fresh air, all three gasped in relief. "We need to warn the police," Harold said urgently. Upon arriving at the police station, Harold, Marcus, and Lawrence urgently presented their photos and videos. The vivid evidence exposed the illegal mining operation and extensive use of dynamite beneath their town. Harold explained the grave consequences the reckless activity had caused, emphasizing that the sinkholes and cracks were a direct result of this criminal act. The police, finally convinced, pledged immediate action. Organizing a team quickly, the police enlisted Harold and his neighbors as guides because of their intimate knowledge of the mine. Harold led the group through the cave system, moving quietly to avoid alerting the criminals still inside. When they reached the site, the lead officer gave the signal, and officers surrounded the group from multiple directions. The 20-strong police force swiftly overwhelmed and arrested the miners. The operation was precise and efficient, bringing the criminals to justice. During questioning, the extent of the scheme emerged. The illegal mining was part of a nationwide network, with at least 20 similar operations causing sinkholes and structural collapses in various communities. The 10 men were sentenced to lengthy jail terms. In an unexpected turn, the police acknowledged their earlier negligence. They admitted ignoring Harold's initial warnings had been shameful and recognized that his persistence was crucial to uncovering the truth and stopping the criminals. Following the arrests, a second police team explored the mine further and uncovered nearly all the stolen gold, worth millions. The local government promised that the bounty would be reinvested in the community, a decision that thrilled Harold. With his extensive construction background, Harold was appointed to lead a major project aimed at restoring the town's safety. The undertaking involved stabilizing the ground beneath the community, repairing damaged homes, and permanently sealing the mine to prevent further hazards. Under Harold's guidance, teams of engineers and workers employed advanced techniques to fill the sinkholes and reinforce the earth. Simultaneously, he coordinated repairs for the damaged houses, ensuring all work met the highest safety standards. Harold's expertise and tireless efforts became the cornerstone of the town's recovery. Months passed, and the town gradually transformed. Dangerous sinkholes gave way to solid, stable ground, and homes once threatened by collapse stood proudly again. The community watched in awe as their neighborhood was revitalized, all thanks to Harold's leadership and determination. When the project was complete, the mine was officially closed and the town was declared safe. To celebrate this achievement and honor Harold, the community organized a grand party. The streets filled with music, laughter, and a joyful atmosphere. As evening approached, residents gathered in the town square. Harold stepped onto a small stage amid cheers and applause. Overwhelmed, he looked out at the smiling faces, feeling deep gratitude. He addressed the crowd. "Today, we stand united not just as neighbors, but as a community. We faced a crisis, but we did not let fear divide us. Together, we accomplished something extraordinary. This success belongs to all of you. Your support and trust built the foundation for our town's recovery." He concluded with heartfelt words. "I am proud to call this town my home, and all of you my family." At that moment, Harold felt a profound sense of fulfillment. He had not only saved his town, but strengthened the bonds within it. Surrounded by happy faces, he knew this memory would remain with him forever.